Welcome, welcome, welcome to Film Study and All American Universe podcast with Lexi. Here is the next part to my conversation with Monda and Summer about Spelivia in season 5 and how they got back together. This is 509 through the end of the season, and then we have one more part after this. We had a really fun conversation, and I hope that you enjoy it. Let's talk about that because that's 509.
Yep.
He is looking for something else, ends up seeing Liv and Noah together. Uh and he goes to Alicia, who had said that she wanted something more. And actually at the end of 8, remember he had said he told Alicia he didn't actually get together with her. He told her he wasn't sure if he could get to that point.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, and
Which
he's
I
like,
think
me
was
and Liv
very
are
honest
trying.
of him, and I was like applauding him. I'm like, this
Yep, he's
is
very honest. He said, me and Liv are trying.
so good, exactly. And he
Yep.
was just like, I don't know if I could get to that point. And it was 509 after seeing Liv with Noah again that he said seeing Liv made him feel hopeful. She was, quote, laughing.
Go ahead.
And he was just like basically saying that Liv has moved on. She's just this thriving person, right? Again, another assumption. I saw you thriving, right? She's this thriving, happy, jovial person with Noah, who he's only saw twice.
Twice.
um and that his fears were stopping him from doing the same thing. And so he actually had essentially cut things off with Alicia, then comes back and says, "Wait, I was wrong. I just saw Liv, and that didn't make me feel jealous or anything. It just made
Which
me
it
feel
did.
hopeful."
Honestly, the way he came up with that lie so quickly, it was actually sounded believable. Like I was like, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. It sounded
Alicia was a
believable.
fool because if someone told
Yeah,
me
because
something
she
like that,
definitely she felt. Oh my god.
I would have like, fool, please. I am not coming to in a relationship with you with that type of like lie.
Well, and the interesting thing is, meanwhile, Liv has been struggling all day, saw this man out of a mirror jump scare,
Yes.
and tells Laura he broke up with me because he thought I was happier, but I'm not, right? And I want him. And Laura's
Right.
like, okay, well, if that's what you want, then go fight for him. And so he's again making these assumptions, and she's on a totally different wavelength of being like, no, or even back to their breakup, when she was just like, no, actually, I'm not. You're wrong. And
Yeah.
here it is. He's saying this made me hopeful because she was happy and laughing, right? And Liv's like, actually, I'm very miserable without this man in my life, as they say near the end. And they're just on two different wavelengths after agreeing to be friends. And so after getting this encouragement from Laura, she goes and she tries to figure out with Layla. Layla comes up with this idea of the auction for Jamie, but also for Liv. She ends up taking Spencer on the like rage room date. Uh,
Yes.
in the middle of this, he's upset about Billy and the GAU thing, and she spends this whole day with him, makes him a what was it? Makes him a smoothie, takes him out on this date. At the end of the day, she does all this stuff, but she comes back and she's like, "You appreciate honesty because Billy wasn't honest with him." And she's like, "Here's my honesty, right? My light never dims, not even a flicker. Uh, I don't want us to be friends because we're more than that." And she says that she wants him back, that she wants them back, and that's her being honest.
Right.
Rocked that boy's world, I tell you. Because he's about to cry. Rocked his world.
Rocked his world, and it's also just it's very interesting. Because as I'm reading this sort of in order, I can't help but think, like we said for them earlier in the season, and we were talking about Spencer specifically, but it feels so, I think, up and down with them. Up and down.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
Liv just 2 episodes ago to defend Spencer a little bit. Liv just said 2 episodes ago, we're not gonna be the friends that we were, but we're gonna figure out how to be friends again. And then she comes, and I love her for being honest. Um, but her just being like you said, rock your world. Boom. I actually am still in love with you. And I want not just that I'm still in love with you, but I do want to get back together. Um, and then after this, he ignores her and he avoids her. It's just like, what are we? What
Because
is
he's
going
weak.
on?
Because he's
Basically,
a complete fool. I'm gonna
oh
tell
my
y'all
god.
this right now, because y'all already know me. I be beefing with that knucklehead boy every 2 seconds. You are in love with someone, and they tell you that I'm still in love with you. I I want to get back together with you. You just previously probably what, not even like hours ago or a day before or whatever, what have you, informed some girl you want to date them, another girl you want to date them because you thought your ex moved on. Because he just makes
Exactly.
rash decisions on his assumptions. So now he caught between a rock and a hard place, and everybody's always like to say Spencer's such a sweetheart. He doesn't like to let people down. Blah 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 blah. There you go, Spencer fans. I got you. But he had everything he wanted right there. But instead of him manning up and just saying, "Here's where I'm feeling right now," this fool decided he gonna go and go to a combine and avoid, to the point that Jordan even was like, "What are you doing? Like, why are you not like responding?" Even the op was like, "Why haven't you responded to Liv?" When the op was one of the main reasons why they was in the middle of all their drama. Even the op was like, "What's going on with you? Why are you not responding?" He was all over the place, all over the place with his
And
feelings.
wasn't it the same episode? I think it was like in the beginning where he's just like he doesn't know if he's still in love with Liv.
Yes,
Yes,
I
he
was
told
yes.
just
that
like,
to who
He
Spencer,
did he
told
say
that
to
what
to
are you
Grace?
he told
talking
that to the
Was it
about?
op.
Grace?
He
Oh,
told it to the op.
okay.
Oh my god.
He said, "I'm not sure if I'm still in love with her." And then he told Grace, he says, "What's so different from the last time we were together?"
Right.
He
Right.
was just so all over the place. He was on an
And
emotional
so
roller coaster.
they were both they were both I think up and down and all over the place at different points in this
Hmm.
season, but I think that there was a certain point where Liv, obviously it was this around this time where Liv was just like, "No, I'm going to be clear, this is what I want." Um not wavering from that.
And not letting you
And
assume.
Spencer, right. And Spencer, and it came at the worst time ever because obviously now we're about to get into Billy's death and things like that. But
Mm.
Spencer was still up and down and all around. And so why do we think that he had this reaction of, because this was before he found out Billy died.
Right.
But why do we think that he had this sort of lackadaisical? And I'm not even gonna say, because at this point I don't think he's coasting. At this point, I think he's like actively sort of. It felt like he was kind of deciding that he did not at the time want to get back together with her.
I say
From
that
my
too.
perspective,
I
It
say
did.
that
Yeah, it
too.
did. It did.
He did.
Which
And
would have
there's some
been a
Spelivia
huge
fans was like,
mistake on
"No,
his
he
end.
wanted to get back together." No, I think he didn't.
Yeah, I think he was gonna make a huge mistake.
He's about to make a huge
'Cause
mistake. And if he
and
told
so,
Liv
but
no,
why? Why was he gonna make that huge
I'm
mistake?
I say the reason why is because he didn't want to go through that heartbreak again if it didn't work out. That was too much. That
Mm,
breakup was too much for him.
I yeah, I think he was just trying so hard to prove that he can move on, that he just was willing to do that,
Hmm.
and it wouldn't have been great.
It wouldn't have been great because if he would have told my sis no, baby.
yeah, I agree that he hadn't felt a heartbreak like this before because he loves her so much. Um, and it was almost just like I literally cannot. go through this again. And even as we get into Billy's death and his reaction to that and his grieving process, and you know, one of the reasons they got back together is because she was always, I think, by his side. And there's like two different lanes with this that I want to go, but let's talk. I'll circle back to again why I think that Spencer did not want to get back together with her. But first, we're going to talk about the fact that through episodes 12 to 15, all of the grief storylines and episodes, they
Hmm.
were checking on each other. You
Mm-hmm.
know, he checks on her. She checks on him.
She does the
Um,
unthinkable and go
which
talks to
is,
Alicia and bring her to his
oh
house.
my gosh, goes talk to
Oh
Alicia.
man.
We'll talk about that. The things that were to that was her unthinkable act. My unthinkable act for him, and I wanted to ask this question is, you know, when he's, let's be mindful that he is in the middle of his grief. He's in the middle of pushing away his grief, specifically in 513 in her episode. And though he does eventually take her, takes a shift, takes her to the carnival, which is, by the way, one of my favorite scene, probably my favorite scene of them in this entire season, is that carnival sequence that they
I
have.
love that carnival
Hmm.
um
sequence.
Yeah,
However,
it was
comma,
cute.
before that
He got
when
mad.
Spencer tells Coop, sounds like she got all the support that she needs after Coop says, Liv is, you know, very close to relapsing and she called us all because it's an emergency situation.
I think he was mad.
Sounds like she got that he didn't get a call.
Yep. I think he was
Yeah,
pissed off he didn't get a call. And that he wasn't the first call.
hmm
Because he was like, I want to be there
I,
for you. Like, he was there helping her make the bed. He was there when she was like trying to figure out like what to write for the eulogy. And it pissed him off that she did not reach out to him.
Yeah, yeah. Do we think that if he was not in the middle of his grief, do you think that he would have responded the same way? Because I personally don't think that he would have responded in that particular way.
No, if he wasn't in the middle of his grief,
yeah,
he would have
not
called her.
not as cold as it was,
Yeah, he
but
would have called her. He would have followed up
yeah.
on
Yeah,
his own and
yeah,
not had the op have to bring her to him. I think because he was in the
yeah,
middle of his own grief and trying to figure that out,
yeah.
it was at that point.
I was just curious.
Yeah,
Just personal little curiosity of
yeah.
mine. Um, but they, like I said, they were there for each other. And he says something that I really, really agreed with at the time. And he's just like, well, 75% of what I agree with at the time. He tells her when they have a conversation at the end of her episode, like, we need to have a conversation about us when we're clear headed.
Hmm.
Um,
I
but
like
he
that.
also said at the top of that, telling me you want me back couldn't be easy. And
Yes.
I was just, I hated that line.
I
I'm
hated that
sorry.
line too. And the courage that you had. I said, boy, if you don't
Yeah.
shut up, book up.
That and Monda, I know this got you too because it got me when she said, "You saved my life enough times." I said, "Oh, turn
Oh,
it
I
off."
was ready to snap somebody. I said, if y'all say this one more time,
I hated that line. I did like the callback to the hospital scene because the
I
hospital
do.
scene is one of like top
Yes.
three
Yes.
their
Yes.
But
scenes,
you
my
know how
favorite
I get
scenes.
with that whole you
But
saved me,
we have such strong opinions on the idea of Spencer saving
saving Liv.
Olivia and the fact that people throw that in her face all of the time. And it's like, let's look at that
Yes.
idea of
Mhm.
saving. Let's look at that idea of
Right.
saving. But yeah, so there are just a couple of lines in this I just did not love. But I love that he said that we need to wait a beat to have this conversation. As she sees that he's spiraling, she encourages Jordan, go see him. Then it gets to his episode where she's essentially telling everybody, like, we can't give up on Spencer. And like Monda said, like, doing the unthinkable and having a
Unthinkable.
conversation with Alicia
The bad
about
enough that she invited
not
Darnell back because
giving
you
up.
know how I feel about Darnell. Um, but then she did the unthinkable.
You got beef with everybody, man.
I was
Man,
gonna say, dang, Darnell not safe either.
Darnell's not safe because I don't like Darnell. But
Summer, I know you're just cackling over there. It's so funny.
so no,
Yeah.
one day
Yeah.
if you want to, I go through my list. It's hilarious. Um, but
Oh my
she did
god.
the unthinkable. Alicia was like, Alicia's like, you keep getting in the way. I was like, first of all, fool, they are intertwined in each other's lives. Like, where do you think Liv was going? Like,
Yeah, I
he
didn't
brought you
understand that
to her
line from
dad's
her.
birthday
The
party,
thing is, it's Alicia who was in the way.
right?
She just
Like,
didn't know how to win the move.
right? Like, he
Like,
brought you to her father's birthday party. She wasn't supposed to be there. Like, what is wrong? Like, what part do
and
you not get that their lives are intertwined?
and with that idea though, I because I've been very vocal about the fact that I did not think that she broke up with him up until this episode when it like came out of her mouth, oh, that you got in the way and things like that. And I was just like, I didn't see the letter as her breaking up with him initially.
She was originally just
Um,
stepping away.
but she was
yeah, I didn't think
originally just
she
stepping
broke up
back,
either.
and then it was just like, but this episode made it seem like she legitimately broke up with him. Uh and it's very interesting, this idea of Alicia being in the way, because once we get to the end of this and they're having this conversation and Spencer thanks her and she's just like, we all love you and things like that, and they're about to have the conversation that was owed to her.
Thank you.
uh
Hmm.
he Alicia comes and he makes the decision to get back together with Alicia.
Which to this
um
day, I'm still not understanding.
Mhm. Don't understand
I
it.
but
Yeah.
listen, so I because
I do not understand. I need Spencer James to explain this to me.
I need Spencer J,
Honestly,
and I'm sorry because both of us are sort of known for better or for worse about being more on Liv's end than Spencer's end. So I'm sorry, Summer. I am gonna ask you to be the proxy for Spencer James on this one.
oh my god. Okay. Okay.
Someone said I can't even do
Okay.
it.
Question. No,
Okay. I
because
could try.
people, I get a bad rap. I do get a bad rap for, and it's really in my mind. I do acknowledge my bias. I'm always heavily Liv. I love Liv Down. She's my favorite character. And so this really confused me. Why is Spencer, and I understand the idea of kind of sorta that he's trying to,
I don't
you know,
understand none of it.
be a hero. And she said that she like was in relationships before and that he was different and things like that. But at this point in time, he was willing earlier in the season to tell her, I'm not where you are, and be okay with that. And then even after this, it felt like such a clear moment to say, you know what, just like he told Liv, like, there's a lot going on in my life right now, and I actually think that I need to step back and reevaluate some things, even if he didn't have to get back together with Liv at that immediate moment.
That would have been better
But
than what he did.
why? It would have been
Yes.
better. And so why did he decide to continue with this relationship with Alicia?
That's on you, Summer.
Oh man.
Unfortunately, but yeah, it is on you.
Oh my gosh. I I I have no idea. He just, I want to say it's his abandonment issues and him not wanting to hurt her because of the story that she told him. And I I I'm hoping it would be one of those, but
Not one of those.
it's
Not
not
as you're
adding up.
saying. Pick a
It,
whack a mole. Pick one. Which pick a card. Any card. Don't show it to me.
yeah, it's just not.
Why did Spencer
I
get back
honestly,
together?
I don't know the reason. I'm still mad about it to this day. Like, why did
Well,
he
which is
choose to sit in that relationship?
Because you know what's
well, and
interesting?
it's funny. Oh, go ahead,
Because
Londa.
not only did this knucklehead, because he has earned his title in this particular scene and the next scene afterwards. Not only did he double down and be like, I'm going to stay with Alicia, This fool was really about to not go to Liv's award ceremony
Oh
because
my
it was an air quote
Before
gosh.
we get
family
to that,
situation
Oh my
because he wanted to
gosh.
go on a date
Please,
with Alicia.
please. It's him acting like he's not part of the family for me. Like,
Yes, I was
sir,
like,
you've
that
been
made
part of the
no
family
sense.
since season
After,
one, episode one. What
yeah,
are you
and so
talking about?
yeah.
you said that with a straight face, and Jordan accepted it. Jordan was like, "Yeah,
Oh my
yeah, I
god.
see that." I was like, "Jordan, this boy just told you he wasn't coming to your sister's award
I mean, I
ceremony
just
because
think
it's a family thing."
I
Jordan
feel
has his
like
slow
Jordan
moments,
was
so he
Jordan.
just
I don't think that Jordan was really thinking about. Jordan had his own stuff going on. Is all
Yeah,
I'm
he
gonna
had his
say.
own
I don't
stuff
think
going
anything
on, but
about.
Liv had just came to the both of them and said that I am going to accept this award in my name. I'm going to this
right.
award ceremony. She just
Right.
said this. Both they all holding her hand in support. And then this fool
Yes.
tells you that he's not coming because
Right.
he's going to go on a date with another girl, and you're just going to be like, "Yep, I'm going to accept that." And the fact that this is,
What is Jordan supposed to do? No, I'm not putting that
I
on
don't
Jordan. That
know.
is one
Jordan
thousand
at that
percent on
point should have
Spencer.
at least questioned him, like at least questioned at that
Yeah,
point,
no.
because
Spencer is a grown man.
no,
Spencer
but
is a
they're
grown
friends
man. I
and
mean,
they're
from my
brothers.
perspective, they are friends. They are brothers. But
And
I'm
that
just
was
saying,
she
I
came to
just
the
don't.
both of them. It'd be different if she only came to Jordan and said that. She said that to the
Right.
both of them.
Yeah, I feel like he could have challenged
I
Spencer a little
He could
bit.
at
Like,
least
you
challenge.
sure?
He
Or,
could have, but
Are
I'm
you
not
sure?
gonna. I'm not gonna penalize
You
him
know I'm
for not
always gonna whack my
challenging that.
fictional baby brother.
I know.
So
I know that you are gonna whack him, but I'm
and
just
I'm
not doing
whacking
that
him on this
personally.
one because she came to both of y'all.
You can. I
She
just don't think
emotionally came
that
to both.
Jordan
She came
deserves to
to
be
that.
penalized.
She came after going to that quinceañera, came to the beach house and was like, "Dad's not gonna walk me down the aisle." And all these emotions. And then says, "I'm going to go accept this award." And she said this to the both of them.
right.
And then for to know all of the emotions your sister had prior to Spencer walking in about her dad not being there for certain things. And this fool tells you that he go on a date with some girl because he's not gonna attend a family function. And Jordan don't even challenge?
But it's also Spencer saying that he was gonna support her 100%.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like, in that same scene. Like,
Yep.
so you were just not gonna show up
And you had
to go on a
Alicia
date? Like,
convince you
come
to
on.
go.
Somebody you don't even
Alicia
really
of all
like
people.
that? Like, come on.
Who, by the way, was invited by your
And so
mama, who then you had to end up
I
inviting.
don't understand
Exactly.
how she even got an invite, but let's
Cause,
not.
cause Grace
I want
opened
to
up her
circle back
mouth.
to.
Cause
I want
Grace
to
opened.
circle back.
Cause how is Grace? Grace was a plus one herself. My mama Laura invited you as a plus one. How's a plus one inviting another plus one to my sister's ceremony? I'm just trying to figure this out.
Oh my
Honestly, I think
gosh!
Alicia
Don't
was
even
just trying
talk
to
to me.
get in front of it before anything happened out of her
No, I
control.
genuinely think that she was like Liv is the reason that we're together. She bought into the Liv magic is
Oh,
my
She
she
bought
did
into
actually.
the live
not
magic,
be
but
that
then at that
dumb.
point, Spencer
No,
should have been like, "How
she
about I
did.
not take you?"
I think that she should have been like, I don't come, but I absolutely believe that she was like, no, I bought into the Liv. She's the reason that we're together. I was like,
Yeah,
girl, calm
it's
yourself. You're so
To
stupid.
me,
Anyway,
I took it as
I want
her
to.
trying to feel like she had things under control in her relationship. That's how I took
Yeah,
it.
that's fair. That's
but
fair.
here's the
I
interesting part. Spencer,
I do.
because
Can
Liv
I
didn't
can
think
I
that he
speak to
was.
this real quick?
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Which
Yeah, you're right. Liv didn't think that he was coming, and she
And he
honestly,
lied
you're right.
about them
Let's
being there.
right.
Mhm.
He-
He didn't say Alicia is the reason why we're there. He's like, "Oh, something came up, but
Mhm.
never mind." No, he lied.
And Liv, let's not forget that Liv thought, and this is back to what we talked about, that they never actually addressed this part of the reason for their breakup,
Right.
in terms of like actually coming to an understanding and growth on this aspect. Because what did Liv say? I thought this was because you were mad that
Yep.
my name was actually going to be attached to this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Right.
so, with that being said, I want to circle back to Spencer and why he might not have gotten back together with Liv. Or maybe he was thinking about not getting back together with Liv earlier in the season. Uh And it's this idea after all of the grief. It's like when he was talking about Billy and he said like, but he left me and Sean left me. And Dr. Spears really had to challenge him on this idea of like, these people didn't leave you, they died. And so, to that point about Spencer's abandonment issues, it's like with Liv in particular, he is determined to not allow Liv the opportunity to leave him.
Yep. That's why he broke
So
up
he's
with
gonna
her.
do it first.
Yep. That's why he broke up with her.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Yeah.
And so even when it was like coming back to the idea of getting back together,
He did
I
not
don't
want
want
her to
Liv
have
to
that
ever leave
power.
me. So I don't know if I want to get back to like that's really in my mind what the issue is. And it's like, are is Spencer at a point now, and I know that he's working on it, but is he at a point now where it's just like he's really working through this abandonment, and particularly with his relationship with Liv, really working to a point where it's just like this constant fear of, I don't I don't want her to leave me. Like I'm not explaining it well, but this constant fear of like, I'm gonna do this thing to her, even if it's not a conscious idea in his head, but
Hmm.
I'm gonna break up with her, I'm not gonna come to her thing, etc., etc. When is that fear of abandonment, particularly as it relates to Liv, especially because she's shown him over and over that she's gonna be there for him? When is that going to sort of quiet this, like, she's going to leave me, so I'm not going to pursue things with her, or I'm not going to break up with her, that idea, is that ever going to come for Spencer?
I think it's gonna
I
come a
think,
little bit over the summer with them being 3 months apart and her coming back.
yeah,
It's gonna quiet a little bit. But it's
it
always gonna
has
be in
to
the
be
back of his
something
mind until
within
he really
him.
deals with it. I also think it's gonna always be in the back of his mind until his mom goes to therapy with him because that look oh, I was about to say something. That woman. About to call her something else.
This is not about Grace, this is about Spelivia.
I know. That's what
Even though I would love to,
yeah.
I would love to go in on Grace personal.
Yeah, no, no, no. I think that no, I'm saying this because I truly think that he really his abandonment issues will not really like subdued and go until he literally goes to therapy with his mom and his brother. It's gonna always
Yeah,
be in the back of his mind.
yeah.
It has to be, and I said that on Twitter recently that they all three need to go to therapy.
But, you know, at this point, Alicia fixed the situation because she said Liv supported us, so we're gonna support her, and they were all happy together in the kitchen.
Oh my
Up
god, I
until
hated that scene with my
I hated
soul.
that scene too.
Jesus, it was so like,
Up
why
and
is she in their house? Why?
I agree. I agree.
Oh my
Up
god.
until the next episode when the foundation for Liv and Spencer, I really feel it was as I was like rewatching this, I was like, really, this episode, it like is Liv and Spencer's foundation,
Mhm.
helping people, fixing things,
Yeah.
Oh, it's when the
and
football.
dancing.
Oh, the football. Yeah,
Yeah,
this,
so when Spencer
Yes.
is trying to help the team and
and then
Liv is
Alicia even
helping with,
offered Liv's house. I was ready to slap that girl
oh my, why did you bring that
because
up
we
to me?
we got to
Oh
talk
my
about it, be
gosh.
about it. She was in the middle talking stuff. But
We don't gotta talk about Alicia. This is about Spelivia. We don't.
okay, I'm
I'm only
sorry.
including
I'm
this
sorry.
girl as
No.
needed.
Like,
As needed.
why?
I'm sorry. I just had to. 'Cause she irritated me, and I haven't been able to
She
speak about
really
those back.
bothers me. But essentially, they're helping people simultaneously and helping each other to do this dance for BSU, Black Student Union of
Yeah.
College, GAU, and they have this incredible dance that they do together because the leads got sick with a little help from Kia.
Hmm.
Um, and that is when it's really clear. It was already clear for Liv because we already knew where she stood, but it was clear on Spencer's end. This is what he
It,
wants. This
it
is
took a
what he's
dance.
seeking.
A dance. Sorry, go ahead, Lex.
I'm just
And
glad it was
why is it
Kia too.
taking so much? I listen,
Why did
I'm
it take
sorry
a
audience
dance?
because I have been trying to like hold it in
Nope. This is not a
because
hold in. This is a
I'm
truth telling
monitoring. Hold,
podcast.
can I'm telling my truth, Monda. I'm telling my truth is that I'm trying to be more subdued and like think of things like remove my bias
That's not a
for
bias.
Liv.
That's truth. It took
But
a dance.
here's the thing, but it's like at this point it's like why does it take so much, Spencer? Why does it take so much? Like, and I'm really trying not to get annoyed thinking about this storyline over and over again, but it took, you know, essentially like Liv going to everybody and saying don't give up on Spencer and him seeing that, and then it took Alicia encouraging him to go to the awards ceremony. It took early on in the season, right? It took Jordan like, oh, you're not in Coop, and Grace, oh, you're not going to give Liv a conversation. Now it's like now it takes a dance. Like what? Why?
It's just too
I'm
much.
Man,
sorry.
He's
I'm
one of those
sorry. I'm
people
gonna
that
get a
just
it
needs.
million
is it
comments
is a
about
lot.
how I hate Spencer. That is not true, but I'm really trying to understand.
He needs a lot of evidence, and it has a lot to do with his abandonment issues. But he needs a lot
He
of
needs a
evidence.
preponderance of evidence.
He needs a lot of it. A lot. At
But
points, you got to
why
handle him
does
with
he need
kid
a lot?
gloves.
Is it again his abandonment issues?
Yeah, that and his controlling issues too. He likes to control
Oh
everything.
gosh.
He's a football
Summer,
player.
I'm gonna
He's a
let you
student
hop in on this
athlete.
one. What do
This is
you
I
nothing
think?
against Spencer. Student
It's a
athletes, like
good
particularly
boy for
like,
Summer to hop in.
yeah. I'm sorry. Go
Listen,
ahead, Summer.
I think he just mm, he well actually I'm kind of interested now when you say he likes to control things, like as far as what?
He's a student athlete. He's a successful student athlete, and I've worked with student athletes. It's rarely that the successful ones don't like to control their environment. Control, and
That
that's
is
on and
true.
off the
That
field.
is true.
They like to control. They like to see what the outcome is going to be. They want to do the best way
Mm.
possible to win, in order to be in their favor. So you tie that with the fact that he's a student athlete who likes to control things, and the fact that he got abandonment issues. Then you have Spencer James.
I just love that I finally reached my breaking point, and it's like that Little Women when Joe is just like I've tried and I can't. Like that's how I feel right now. It's like I've tried, I
Oh
can't.
god, that is funny.
Um, but you know, regardless, at the end of the day, he was going to break up with Alicia, but she beat him to the punch yet again. He's beat to the punch
Oh
yet
my
again.
gosh. Another
Um,
thing I
She should
didn't
have been
like.
gone before he got there.
Oh
she should have
god.
never came back.
That
She should have
too.
never came back. Like, well, and by never came back, he should have never got back together with her
That too.
That's what I'm
after
saying. He
his
should have
grief.
been single that
Oh,
He
he
should have
should
entire
been
have. He
single
should have been
from
single.
his grief episode.
Yep.
He should have been single from
exactly.
his grief episode.
Yep.
Is the
Ex-
way I view it.
I agree.
God.
Uh, but to wrap up the season, the dance happens. It's all great. No explanations, just holding hands. Spencer, I'm going to London.
And he,
Uh,
oh, he faked
and he
that.
says that she deserves it and that he's proud of her. Again, we're getting these words in support of her, which I love,
I love it.
Mhm.
His
but it's
face said a
also
whole
just like I
different
want to
thing.
start to see some actions behind this. And then the whole last episode is him again trying to tell people oh my god.
We're just friends.
Oh, because
He's
it's just
steady.
it's
Like,
bothering me in
what
succession like this.
happened?
It's
Like,
bothering me because it's like Alicia just broke up with you because she said this thing with Liv has been here the whole entire time, and then he's
exactly.
telling Dylan there's nothing. Dylan Grace and whatever her face is. What's Dylan's girlfriend's name?
It,
Something with an
Nikki?
N.
Nikki.
It was
Yeah, something
Nikki.
like that.
Nikki. Yeah.
And he's telling them there's nothing, but we're just friends. Like
Nikki was like, now
no,
this
everybody's
tragic love
tired.
story.
Jordan is tired. Tell the people that you
JJ,
love with
Asher,
like,
they're all
come
just like,
on.
what
Layla
are
is
you talking
tired. Like,
about?
we're
Everybody's tired.
tired.
They are
The boy.
tired of you.
Oh my gosh.
And it finally takes Jordan of being like, bro, I just watched my father die falling off a
Literally
cliff. Can you go tell this
falling
girl that
off
you
a
love her,
cliff.
please? 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 And then he does. And it's like, oh, I've been miserable. Blah, blah, blah. I've been miserable too. Yeah.
Which was such an I love the airport scene, but here's the
I
deal:
love it, but it's
Yes,
just like,
I loved
why
it
did
too.
it
take so
take
long.
again? Why did it take all
Yeah.
of this?
And then I
Honestly, I
go,
think
ain't
they
no
just
way in the
wanted to
world
drag it out.
if she
It
was
had to.
really in LAX, could he get to the international side with a Nebraska ticket? Because I've gone through LAX for international flights.
I really thought that they were going to give that man a ticket to Canada, and that would have been
That would have
perfect.
been
And
perfect.
then
Like
it
that would
just
have
didn't
been
happen.
cheap, just as
It literally,
Nebraska.
because
He was right
you can
there.
go to Canada just with a license. Like, you
Yes, it's
don't.
True,
very cheap. I
true.
was like, why would they say Nebraska?
So I don't understand why they said Nebraska instead of Canada.
Yeah,
Like,
me either. But that's a whole nother story. Not here, no
but
here.
that's a whole other story. But honestly, I want to give it its just due to say that he did have this whole day with her,
It
and they
was
spent the day
beautiful.
together reminiscing. It was very
The
beautiful,
gifts,
reminiscing,
oh
actually
my
going back
gosh.
to Beverly, having sushi.
And which he
um
fibbed because he said she invited him for that sushi day. He invited her. She told him about it,
that's true.
and
Well,
she
he also said like he also said lunch on the first day, and I'm like, it was not the first day because it was on Friday. Get
right,
it correct. Get it
right,
correct.
and then he literally said he said lunch on sushi, and she said it's a day. He invited her first, but I love the fact that she called him out and said you were attracted to that other light skinned black girl. I said yes. You better tell him
Mm-hmm.
the truth.
Oh yeah.
Put that tea out there.
Yeah.
And so they reminisced on essentially their whole story, and then again finally was just like that this idea of they've been miserable, which is something that I feel like everybody around them knew, and they were finally saying it to
Oh, they
each other, and they
definitely
said I
knew.
love you a lot. I know that I'm not the most popular person for saying that I didn't love that Liv said that no, I don't want to go, but she said it anyway.
Oh, you didn't like it. I was gonna
And
drag her on that plane. I was like, what, girl?
oh,
I
I
just think
listen.
she was in the moment.
I was
I
She
like,
was
feel
in the
you
like
could just
she
moment.
would
wait
have
till
I've
this
went
come
light skin
to
man.
I
regardless.
listen,
It was just
I've
the moment
come down
and
off
her
my
feelings.
hill of being annoyed and upset about it, and I'm just like, it was just in the moment.
So here's the deal.
Um
You had that part, and the part when he was like, I was miserable without you. I was like, but you were sleeping with Alicia the whole time. And you were bringing Alicia around, so how miserable
that's
were you?
Yeah, you can be miserable in a
While,
relationship.
while sleeping with
That's what he
somebody.
was
so,
doing, wasting
and
a girl's time, being miserable
I think
when
this
he
is a
could have
good
been with
point for
Liv.
us to ask. Thanks for listening to Film Study and All American Universe podcast. Stay tuned for the next and final part.